Welcome to another edition of Walton Entertainment. Today we'll have more news, information, and entertainment from your local hometown.
I'm going to see how cold it gets.
Welcome to the Veterans Day celebration here at Walton County's newest park, the Veterans Memorial. As I look over the crowd, I see that there's many veterans, and I do want to recognize a couple of people. First of all, the commander of Post 64, American Legion in Monroe, Chris Hickman. Also, the 2019 recipient of the Moena Michael Scholarship, Miss Caitlin Geppard. And all you veterans, I thank you for your service. Welcome home, Vietnam vets. We have the Monroe area band. We thank you for coming and playing for us. And we have a family from North Charleston, South Carolina. Happens to be the comptroller over there, the Sue Connor Griffin family. One of them being from Arizona. They're here this morning somewhere. Part of them is anyway, but let's welcome them. The reason why I mention them is she was a child who grew up here in Walton County and got married and of course left, like a lot of us. There are so many people that are responsible for this park. We can't name them all. This beautiful facility that we have, I just thank all those behind the scenes that dedicated so many hours to put in to build this ornament right here for all veterans to have a sense of belonging. We have pavers in the ground as a permanent reminder, and behind me you see this ornate fountain. We really have a lot to be thankful for here in Monroe. With that being said, we have the Walton County Fire and Rescue Honor Guard. We have Pastor Sorrells from the United Methodist Church here in Monroe. We also have the Honorable Mr. Jody Heiss, our 10th District Congressman, with us today. And thank you. And Mr. Tyrone Carroll, representing the United States Navy.
pretty day we've had. The good Lord has gave us a beautiful day. I think Tuesday and Wednesday is going to be really bad, but from what I understand, it's beautiful as the sun's coming up and warming us. It's a great honor to be able to have a congressman that was originally from right here in Walton County. I think he's moved off now into a little different, but he's still within our district. But it's a person that takes care of Walton County, looks out for the citizens, and he believes in true America. And that's something that we really need in our Congress today. All these people military have fought through the years to keep us proud and to keep America proud. And we have a congressman right here from the 10th District, Congressman Jody Heiss, who represents America and represents our beliefs and the founding fathers of what we have. At this time, Jody, if you would, please come forward.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. And wow, what an honor it is to be here. As always, we always have and will continue to consider Walton County our home. We lived here for about 20 years, and now just really for sake of being more centrally located in the district, we actually live now in Greensboro, but this is home. It's where we raise our children, and it's always great to be back with real Americans. You know, y'all are actually smiling, and we're saying the pledge, and there's just a great spirit here. The highlight of my week every week in Washington is heading back home to America, getting back with real people right here. And so I just want to thank you for all that you are and all that you stand for. And so many elected officials here. I just look over the crowd, local and state. Bruce Williamson, thank you for your incredible service and your leadership for all of us. And I just look around. If I start naming, there's no doubt I'm going to miss so many. But let's just give a round of applause to our local and state elected officials who are here serving us. And I tell you, it's a tremendous honor for me to have so many times be able to look eyeball to eyeball and have conversation with men and women who have donned the uniform of the United States military, and to hear their stories and to learn more and more of their acts of heroism and sacrifice and commitment to the greatest country in the history of the world. And I cannot tell you how honored I am to be right here, Walton County, as was mentioned a while ago, home of some 6,000 veterans right here in Walton. And we've got, I hear different estimates. I'm not sure exactly what the number is, but I hear somewhere between 60 and 70,000 veterans who call the 10th Congressional District of Georgia their home. What an amazing group of people and individuals we have right here living around us. And I just want to encourage you today, every one of us, to take time today to personally say thank you to a veteran for their willingness to stand up for and their willingness to sacrifice their very life to defend our freedoms, our liberties, and to be able to pass that on to our children and our grandchildren, and to keep this the greatest nation in the world. I want to encourage you today to take time to say thank you to those individuals who've been willing to do so. And it's only right. You know, I believe this is really part of our duty as American citizens to set aside a specific day of the year for us specifically to express the everlasting gratitude that we have to those who have been able to lay down and willing to sacrifice potentially their entire life for our freedoms. Well, that is, it's only right for us to have a day like this to say thank you. And it's a privilege to be able to do that. I am so proud to be able to represent so many of you who have been willing to offer that sacrifice. Just last week, I had the distinct privilege of meeting a 96-year-old World War II veteran, Louis Graziano, from the 10th District. He lives in Thompson, Georgia. He was on the third wave on D-Day that landed at Omaha Beach, fought in the Battle of the Bulge, and he is the last surviving witness to Germany's surrender who's living. And I had the privilege of being with him. In fact, he gave me a copy of his family had been urging him for years to write a little book of his experiences, and he gave me this past week. I obviously have not had the opportunity yet to read it, but I look at the life of Louis Graziano, and to see the humility that still is within him, and in his words, as I've heard hundreds of times, all I did was what I was asked to do, to serve our country. And I look at heroes like him, and I look throughout this crowd and see heroes all over this place today. You know, Louis Graziano is not the exception. He is one of many. He is one of thousands, one of 10,000s, hundreds of thousands, millions who have been willing to offer that kind of commitment because of the belief in this country and the freedoms that we enjoy, and the willingness to lay everything on the line, that we keep those freedoms and those liberties, and that we pass that on to the next generation. And so it is with heartfelt gratitude that we come today to say thank you to those of you who have served. And not only to those of you who have served, but to the family members, the husbands and wives, the moms and dads, the sons and daughters, the brothers and sisters, the grandchildren, who likewise have distributed and exhibited so much sacrifice as your loved ones, your family members have been deployed in different places all around the world, while you kept the home front intact here. And I would just like for us today, if we can also, just to give a warm round of applause to those family members who likewise have exhibited tremendous sacrifice as their loved ones served our country. We are deeply appreciative. And I'm honored today to be able to just to share with you a few things that have happened in Washington. There have been many, but I jotted down just a couple of things that have taken place over the last few years, specifically to help our veterans. We have the most funding now in the history of our country for the Department of Veterans Affairs. Just passed a bill for $8.6 billion for the Department of Veterans Affairs. 8.6 of that goes specifically to mental health services. That's a great step in the right direction. We have the VA Mission Act, which is providing now more choices than ever before for men and women who have served our country for health care choices that they have. We have the Forever GI Bill that enables our veterans to not just have 15 years to use the GI Bill for education, but now it's permanent. It can go out as long as needed. That's a great step in the right direction. The President signed an executive order mandating that federal student loans be forgiven for all disabled veterans. It's a tremendous thing. And we also have now the lowest unemployment for veterans in the history of our country, 2.4%. And, you know, we have an administration, and I can tell you for the most part, this goes on both sides of the aisle. There's tremendous support in Washington for our veterans and our military. And we all know there's a lot of challenges that we're facing in our country now, a lot of serious challenges. And in many ways, I believe we're in the fight of our life for our country and to maintain the freedoms that we have and the constitutional republic that we have. And yet, in spite of all the issues and the battles and the severe issues that we're facing, there is still a great commitment and a great gratitude for those who have served our country and those who are continuing to serve it. And I pray that that continues. I wanted to share this verse with you from second, because I'd be willing to bet many of you, as you served our country in various places where you served, either this verse or verses like this probably meant a great deal to you at certain times. But 2 Samuel 22:30 says, with your help, I can advance against a troop. With my God, I can scale a wall. He is a shield for all those who take refuge in him. And it's our prayer today that the good hand of God, the one who held you, who was your shield while you were serving, the one upon whom many of you relied for safety and for strength while you served this great country. It is our prayer for every one of you that his shield, that his protection, that his goodness, that his grace would continue to rest upon you and your families, and that you today would be able to accept and receive, not only from us right here, but from an entire grateful nation, where all across this country, right now and throughout the day, services like this, celebrations like this, taking place literally all across the country, because we are a grateful nation for your service and your sacrifice. And it's our prayer that you would be able to receive that today in a heartfelt kind of way, that we are appreciative of that which you have been willing to offer our country. And so it is with that, yes. It is with that that I want to say again and afresh, and as deeply personal as I know how to say, thank you. We are a grateful nation for your service. You are, to every one of us in this crowd, heroes for what you've done. And we are committed, every one of us, to continue to stay on the front line in the battle for the greatest country in the history of the world. God bless every one of you, and deeply may God continue to bless our country as a whole. Thank you for the privilege of having a few moments to share with you. Keep the torch ablaze, and God bless our country.
Well, you know, Santayana said those who forget history are doomed to repeat its mistakes. And Veterans Day is our way of remembering the sacrifices that have been made for us to enjoy the freedoms we have in the country today. So many people are forgetting that, and this day marks that for us as a reminder. For me personally, as a veteran, I owe a lot to the service, Air Force, because I joined when I was 17 years old, stayed in for 33 years, and grew up a lot of experiences I had, I owe to the Air Force for that.
Veterans Day is a day to recognize all the veterans that have served our country. And for me personally, I wear the uniform almost every day being a JRTC instructor, but I love wearing the uniform and serving my country. I've been doing it since 1987, and this is all I know as an adult. But I'm very appreciative of all the people that recognize us on this day, and it's a great day for everybody, for the United States.
Again, it is my honor not only to take part in this annual Veterans Day celebration here today in Loganville, but as mayor to welcome each of you to our great city. This event serves as a testament to the importance I believe our city displays in support of our military and our veterans. It was a display a few weeks ago as a funeral procession of Master Sergeant Mark Allen, Loganville resident, made its way through Loganville. It was truly amazing to see many of you, many residents, standing proud, waving their flags, bidding a final farewell to a man who paid the ultimate price in the name of our freedom. While I know this day is about celebrating those who chose so violently to defend the ideals many of us hold clear, I want to take a moment to reflect on the passing of Master Sergeant Mark Allen. I was proud to see our city offer him a hero's welcome years ago when Master Sergeant Allen returned home from his injuries from his service overseas, and to again send him off as a hero he was when his funeral procession came through our beautiful town. The injuries that he suffered eventually led to his passing, and we certainly lost a true hero. Not only did we lose another one of our brave men and women who chose to defend our way of life by serving in the military, we also lost a Purple Heart recipient. Earlier this year, I directed my staff to begin work on having our great city become a Purple Heart city. In your program, you will see a proclamation that I will formally read at our Thursday night council meeting, that we will do our best to honor these special men and women in our community who received a Purple Heart. In your program, you will see a proclamation that I will formally read at Thursday night council meeting that will do our best to honor these special men and women who have received it. As General George Washington said, these recipients gave blood in our defense of our homeland, and we should forever be revered by his fellow countrymen. Much like the proclamation reads, I won't read it all, but I stand here today offering my great admiration and utmost gratitude for all the men and women who have served our armed forces. I stand here today, a proud veteran myself, knowing that the contributions of the men and women from Loganville area who served in the armed forces have been vital in maintaining the freedoms and the way of life we all enjoy as citizens today. Veterans is about all those who have served our great nation. Those select few who I believe have earned the title of being a hero. I hope that I stand here today before you, both heroes and your families. You know that the Loganville community is here to support you 100%. And I'm going to stop by for just a minute to recognize some of our council members up here that do support you 100%. We have our veteran Vice Mayor Danny Ford here with us today. We have our Councilwoman Linda Dodd, that her husband Freddie is also a veteran here today. We have our Councilman Jay Boland that's also here today. Am I missing any other council member? Oh, we got Lisa, what are you doing back there? We got Council Lady Lisa Newberry all the way in the back that also supports you 100%. We are proud of you for your service to this country, and we are honored that you joined us today at this ceremony so that we may show future generations what a hero you really are. It is not someone who wears a cape or is a standout on an athletic field. It is someone who chooses to sacrifice for the sake of others. Someone who understands that there is a price to pay for the freedoms we hold dear. And Ford put their lives on the line. To me, we should take a moment every day to thank a veteran, to pray for those currently defending our freedoms, and realize that part of what makes this great country great are both the soldier and a veteran. Now it is this time, I would like to introduce a great friend of mine, member of this post, Ralph Mullins, who retired from, that's right, who retired from the Georgia Department of Veterans Service, and is a 32-year veteran of the U.S. Army, retiring as a Chief Warrant 4. He graduated from Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, sorry about that, Aeronautical University, and holds a Bachelor of Professional in Aeronautics degree. Mr. Mullins flew rotary wing aircraft for 25 of his 32 years. Amazing, amazing, incredible. Including the AH-1G Cobra in Vietnam, the UH-60 Black Hawk, as well as the world's greatest attack helicopter, the AH-64 Apache. I'm going to say something real quick. My son right now, when I see Ralph, I see my oldest son, 23-year-old. My son right now is following on this man's footsteps. He is currently right now in Fort Rucker, Warrant Officer 1, going through helicopter school, just like this great man is. Jesse Martinez, we love you. We know you're hard at work at Fort Rucker. And happy Veterans Day, and we love you, and we support you. He and his wife, Annelies, have lived in Georgia for almost 3 decades, the last 15 in Loganville. His awards and decorations include Legion of Merit, Bronze Star Medal, 2 Meritorious Service Medals, and the Master Army Aviator Badge. Mr. Mullins is a proud member of St. Oliver Plunkett Catholic Church and the American Legion, our great American Legion, Post 233. He was instrumental in establishing the missing man table on a permanent basis here in Post 233 during this recent renovations. Please help. Big Logan, again, a big Loganville welcome. Welcome, Mr. Ralph Mullins.
Thank you, Mayor. And as most aviators will call Fort Rucker, it's commonly referred to as Mother Rucker. Today I want to briefly talk about the POW and MIA flag origin. Then an overview of an Army aviator that was assigned to the same unit I was, stationed in Vietnam, and would ultimately be shot down and become America's last POW in Vietnam. But first, a brief overview of the POW MIA flag. When I decided to undertake this, I thought, you know, I just saw the flag, but how did it come about? Back in 1971, Miss Mary Hoff, whose husband was an MIA in Vietnam, was instrumental in getting the flag established. She had read a newspaper article from a Jacksonville, Florida newspaper about the plight of POWs and MIAs. She contacted Mr. Norman Rifkes, who was the vice president of Annan and Company, and found him very sympathetic to this POW issue. He agreed to help develop the flag and assigned that task to Mr. Newt Heisley, a former World War II pilot who sketched several designs based upon his own wartime memories. The flag that was chosen depicts the silhouette of a man's head, the barbed wire behind him, and also the guard tower. Under that design are the words, "You are not forgotten." Finally, in 1970, the 101st Congress officially recognized the POW-MIA flag. There are 6 occasions for displaying this flag, and those are the Armed Forces Day, Memorial Day, Flag Day, Independence Day, and the National POW-MIA Recognition Day, which is the 3rd Friday in September. And of course, Veterans Day. Protocol for flying this flag can be found at www.miafamilies.org. There are copies of the entire history of this flag located on the table next to the hallway leading to the restroom facilities. Now I want to share with you the experiences of Captain William Reeder, who after completing his Cobra transition returned to Vietnam for his 2nd tour. He was assigned to the 361st Combat Escort Company, call sign Pink Panther, in December 1971. The slide that's being depicted shows you the events of May 1972 in which Captain Reeder was shot down. And this was centered around the hamlet of Con Tum and a Vietnamese fire base named Ben Het, which had 350 Vietnamese soldiers and 2 American advisors. Captain Reeder and his co-pilot, Warrant Officer Tim Conroy, was on their 3rd mission that day. They were told to contact a Huey en route and go to Ben Het. After departing Con Tum, he witnessed the South Vietnamese fighter plane being shot down and the pilot bailing out. He requested permission 3 times to cover the extraction of that gentleman, but was denied each time. So he proceeded to Ben Het and established radio contact with the Huey. The pilot of the Huey told him that they were making an emergency ammunition resupply and needed Cobra gun cover to accomplish this. At Ben Het, during the resupply, they only received small arms fire. However, upon departure of the area, he received intense anti-aircraft fire. Captain Reeder indicated that the small arms fire that he had normally received sounded like the Jiffy Pop popcorn as it was popping. However, this time the rounds hitting his helicopter sounded like a jackhammer. Very quickly he lost control of his tail rotor, and as such, the helicopter started spinning. After a few rotations, they hit the ground hard, bounced, and landed upright. During the hard landing, Captain Reeder sustained a major back injury and burns on his neck. He told his co-pilot to get out of the aircraft because it was on fire. And with the co-pilot's door being located on the opposite side of the aircraft, he didn't know whether or not his co-pilot had egressed out of the aircraft. The next thing he realized, he was several yards away from the crash site, watching his own ammunition explode. Not knowing where his co-pilot was or the enemy soldiers were, he decided to try and evade the enemy and did so for 3 days before being captured. Captain Reeder said that at the time the NBA soldiers pointed their weapons at him and he became a POW was the most lonely, depressing feeling that he has ever experienced in his life. They took his boots away from him and socks, and for the next 3 days he was interrogated. He remembers his last interrogation when they had tied his arms behind his back with ropes. This seemed to be a very popular way. And as the interrogation continued, they tightened the ropes finally to a point where both of his shoulders dislocated. He said it was the most excruciating pain he has ever suffered in his life. On the fourth day, he and 25 other POWs, which included 1 other American and 24 South Vietnamese soldiers, were moved to their first camp. Each POW was given a small bag of rice, which became their daily rations. Upon arrival at the camp, they were placed in a bamboo structure about 4 feet high, 4 feet wide, and 30 feet long. In the middle was a long tree trunk with notches cut out, so they placed their feet in those notches and were unable to move around. They remained at this camp for a few days before moving on. After several days of travel by foot, he noticed that some of the POWs that were marching with him would fall out. When he did, all he heard was a rifle shot. They shot the POW and left him to die. He realized that if he could make it to the next way station, his chances of survival increased. On the 4th day, he began having difficulty in keeping up with the group. He felt as though he could not continue, and at that point, the South Vietnamese POW picked him up and carried him to the next waypoint. He overheard the South Vietnamese POW indicate that he had been shot down near Con Tum. He was the pilot that Captain Reeder wanted to cover the extraction on. He was kept at the next camp for several days prior to joining up with another group. Prior to departing, they were told that the next camp was 11 days and things were going to be better for him. Little did he know that the final destination was Hanoi, which took 3 months, a distance of approximately 350 miles. He indicated that when he arrived in Hanoi and was placed in his cell, he sat down and wept. He wept knowing that his marches were over. He was repatriated after 320 days of captivity. His experiences as a POW is only one of many instances that reflect a symbol such as the POW and MIA flag. His memoir reinforces the theme of courage, sacrifice, undying faith, strength of family, love of country, loyalty among his comrades, and finally, a realization of how precious is the freedom all too often taken for granted. His book, Through the Valley, goes into great detail of his experiences during this difficult time in his life. 2 more quick things. Captain Reeder's co-pilot was rescued by helicopter the same day they were shot down. However, upon arrival at the hospital in Pleiku, he was pronounced dead. Lastly, it took Captain Reeder 20 years to finally locate that South Vietnamese officer who picked him up and carried him to the next waypoint. It was a tremendous reunion. Thank you for your attention.
Are you in need of tractor work, bush hogging, grading, cleaning, sod installs, and drainage repair? Then you need Bold Springs Landscape Solutions. Bold Springs Landscape Solutions is a licensed, insured, and certified landscape solutions company. Their services include grading and drainage, bush hogging and clearing work, as well as fencing, landscape, and sod installation. Contact Bold Springs Landscape Solutions today.
Good morning. Thank you for watching. I'm Dina Huff, the Executive Director for the Partnership for Families, Children, and Youth. And today I wanted to share a couple of important dates that are coming up that may interest you about the Walton County Empty Stocking Fund. I wanted to let you know about the application dates. Some of these may pass before you will actually watch this, but coming up on Monday, November 11th from 9 until 12, we will be taking applications at the Social Circle Senior Center, and that will be at 138 East Hightower Trail in Social Circle. That is at the Senior Center, and that will be from 9 until 12 in the morning. And on Tuesday, November 12th, from 9 until 12, and then again that evening from 6 until 8, it will be at Felker Community Center. And that's 725 South Madison Avenue in Monroe. And again, that's on Tuesday, November 12th. Those will be two different application times. And then on Wednesday, November 13th, from 9 until 12, the application times will be from 9 until 12 at the Rock Gym in Loganville. The address for that is 135 Main Street in Loganville. Those are the times that you need to get your applications in. Have someone bring you if you're not able to drive to fill out an application. If you miss the time, if you're from Monroe and you need to fill out an application, you can have someone drive you to Social Circle or to Loganville and fill out an application there. That is fine. Those will be taken at the other places. But we do encourage you to, if you need a box of food, to fill out those applications in the various times and places that they are available. Also, if you receive a letter that your application was approved, then application delivery date will be Saturday, December 14th this year. And we ask that everyone is at home that morning. Delivery date usually that morning begins around 8 a.m. And if you are not at home, they're asked not to leave your box of food, because someone else can take your box of food, and that is a lot of food that is left for someone else to take your box of food. So if you receive a letter in the mail, then that means you are getting a box of food. So just wanted to share that information with you. And also I want to share the information for Fish with you. It's also their time to share their information about their Christmas assistance program and their dates to apply. It's Monday through Friday, October 28th through November 22nd, and Saturday, November 9th and 16th at the Fish Ministry Office located 700 South Madison Avenue in Monroe from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. And if you need additional information on that, you can call 770-207-4357. Or you can always go to their website at www.fishofwalton.org. And also, I've asked Rick to join me this morning to talk a little bit about the Domestic Violence Task Force that they have
reformed.
Thank you. Reformed. So, Rick, I'll let you take over now.
Okay. Well, the holiday season for most of us is a time of excitement and family get-togethers and lots of joy as we watch children. But unfortunately, the holiday season is also a time when domestic violence actually increases. We, in the past, have had a domestic violence task force, and it has languished away, but we are now in the process of reforming that. As a matter of fact, our next meeting will be in January, and that date will be sent out later on. But if you need more information about that, my phone number here is 770-207-3176. My email address is rick.baker at walton.k12.ga.us. So you can contact me either of those two ways to find out more information about the Domestic Violence Task Force, what we're about, what we hope to accomplish, and hopefully how you can be a part. It's open to anyone. You don't have to hold a position in any agency or organization. So if you're interested, please contact me and I'll make sure you know the next dates. I also want to touch on something else briefly. You may notice I'm a little bit scruffy. November is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, otherwise known to a lot of men as No Shave November. And so that's what this is all about. If you're a guy out there and you're over 50 years old, I hope you'll go and get checked out, because this is it's a real issue for men. It's the number 2 cause of death among most men. So appreciate that, and if you want more information about the task force, just get in contact with me and I'll be happy to talk with you about it. So that's all I have, Dana.
Okay, thank you, Rick. One other thing I would like to add is we are in the process of beginning an online resource guide. Like I said, this is a process. It will take several months to begin this process. We will ask our partners over the next several months you will receive an invite to put your information in by email, and we will need cooperation from all of our partners. If you run a business, if you have an organization, we're asking anyone from Walton County, if you're interested in having your information on this online resource guide. It will benefit our families seeking resources. We receive calls daily about resources for Walton County. I think Rick, I'm not sure how many phone calls that Rick receives. I know folks mainly refer them to us if they don't have a resource that they can give families. They refer them to us for us to give them a resource. So we decided that this would be beneficial to our families, so we're starting this process. So we need your help trying to make this a successful process. So we will be doing this. Like I said, it's going to be a task. It's going to be several months in the works. So we will need everyone's cooperation in doing this. So if you're interested in getting your organization's information in this online resource guide, just contact me, email me. My direct line is 770-207-3175. If you have any information to share, you need any resources, always feel free to call us here at the partnership. You want to reach out to us and figure out ways to volunteer, please feel free to reach out to us, and we look forward to speaking with you soon. Thank you.
Creative artists can offer you a wide range of video production. Call the experts and discuss your project today, whether it's your special event or your company. Creative Artist, 770-267-7368. Creative Artist produces this program you're watching. Call Creative Artist today, 770-267-7368. Creative Artist, they'll put you in the spotlight.
Hi, welcome to Monroe Walton Center for the Arts. As you can see, we're all decked out for Christmas. As of this month, we're open 7 days a week. So we're open Sundays from 1 to 5, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday from 11 to 4, Thursdays, along with most of the city shops, we're open from 11 to 8 p.m. on Thursdays. And then Fridays and Saturdays we're open 10 to 5. So lots of shopping opportunities. Come in. We have volunteers that are providing homemade cookies. These are the real deal. These are not from the deli or slice and bake cookies. These are real deal chocolate oatmeal and white chocolate cashew and peanut butter, really great cookies for $1. It's a little fundraiser that we're doing here. So you can stop by, get a little package of cookies. If you get some cookies, we have hot spiced apple cider. So relax and listen to Christmas music and just look at all of the beautiful handmade, local, artisan-created gifts that we have for you from artists right here in Monroe and Walton County. Just beautiful. Everything from soaps and lotions and candles to original art, clothing and jewelry, home decor, Christmas decor, and just about everything in our shop is under $35, and some items are $5 or $6. So we've really got some great teachers' gifts for anybody that you could think of. You can find it right here. One interesting thing that we have that's new to us is a blacksmith, and he has beautiful fire irons and knives, just beautiful things that are handmade by him. So anyway, just beautiful things. Come and see. Don't forget the home tour is coming up in December. We have tickets available here. You can walk in and get the tickets here. We take, of course, cash, checks, credit cards, debit cards here. You can also go online to buy them at our website. There's all the information is there, and then a link for the tickets, and that's at monroewaltonarts.org. The tour is around a dozen homes at this time, all downtown historic homes. My neighbor is on the tour, and he is already decorating his home. So it's just going to be a really fabulous time to see the insides of some of these houses that we all look at and wonder, what does that house look like on the inside? It's just beautiful. So it'll be a really fun time. That's December 14th. I recommend that you not wait. As soon as you know you want to go ahead and get your tickets, because the tickets are limited. So get those. They're already selling. We have some workshops coming up. We have a girls' night out on Friday, November 15th. We have a vision board workshop in November. We have a drop-in clay workshop on November 16th. That means you can just come in and it's a clay angel that stands about 12 to 16 inches high. Perfect for mantelpieces, perfect for tabletops. And it's easy because it's a drop-in. You don't have to make reservations, just come. We have metal jewelry making with Stormy Wiles. So lots of things coming up. If you come into the center, we've always got our class list. We're always adding new classes. We have 50 to 70 classes every single month for kids, adults. And don't forget, we have our special outreach to special needs adults and kids. So let us know if you're interested in those, and we'll put you on the list for when we have our special needs classes as well. We usually have at least 2 a month, and we can let you know when those are coming up, and you can sign up for those as well. So lots of classes, lots of shopping, lots of special events going on with the home tour. Come in and see us, and y'all have a great Thanksgiving in November, and we'll see you soon.
Coming up next week, you'll want to tune in for this one, The Turkey Chase. That's next week here on Walton Entertainment.
Where do you come alive? A stadium, lecture hall, a music hall, church potluck? This year, you have a new spot, walkgeorgia.org, a free website that provides you with all the resources needed to get your heart rate up and body out in your community. Sign up and receive individual or group fitness tracking, fitness demos by certified trainers, recipes, and a guide to resources in your Georgia County, all in one easy-to-use site. When you move more, you live more. walkgeorgia.org.